If leveling up your nutrition feels overwhelming, I just want you to know that you're definitely not alone. And dialing in your nutrition does not have to be complicated at all. I want to show you exactly how you can dial in and level up your nutrition starting today. Let's get into it. And unfortunately, there's all these complicated strategies when it comes to nutrition, saying this or that is the best way and the proven method, when really the best method is going to be the method that works for you. For example, if you like carbs, keto is not going to be the best diet for you. But if you choose to do keto, guess what's going to happen? You're going to quickly become overwhelmed with the diet before you even start seeing results. And that's the last thing that you want, because dieting and losing fat or even building muscle takes time. So if you ever felt like managing your nutrition is a little too complicated, you guys came to the right video. Sit back, relax, just like this guy, and enjoy the video. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can level up your nutrition one step at a time. And just like any other skill or any other habit that we're trying to build, nutrition is always gonna be best built in stages that are gonna be repeated off of one another. There's no reason to jump from step number 1 all the way up to step number 5. There's no reason to go from step 1 all the way to step 5, because guess what? When you take that leap, you're probably gonna fall on your face. It's gonna be overwhelming and you're not gonna hit that goal. So you gotta take it one step at a time. And whether your goal is to burn fat, build some muscle, or just maintain your weight, this same strategy is going to work for everybody. And that special sauce, that special strategy is tracking. All right, so I know what you're thinking, tracking, I don't wanna do any tracking, and I get it. That resistance is going to feel natural, because guess what? That's a habit that you might not have built up yet, but that's gonna be the habit that you definitely need to build up if you finally want to see the change that you want to see. And that's why if you go from point A, which is not tracking, all the way to point B, or step 5, which is full on tracking, guess what? You're going to become overwhelmed. So today's video, again, it's gonna be perfect for you, because you're gonna be able to see the framework that helps you track your calories, so that everything that gets tracked gets measured, and what gets measured also gets managed. And when you're able to manage that, you're able to make those adjustments towards whatever goal it is. And as long as you can adhere to it by building in the 5 steps that we're going to be talking about in today's video in the right order and in the right fashion, you are finally going to succeed this year with your nutrition. All right, guys, but before we dive into the 5 levels of nutrition in today's video, first off, I want to share a story with you guys going way back to when I started my fitness journey, and when it comes to more so nutrition. So I remember when I first started lifting, and I remember when I really first started to pay attention to the nutrition side of things. That's when I knew it's time to really change the game. And at that time, I saw all the fitness influencers out there, such as like Steve Cook and all these guys who just had nice big muscles, but they were also lean. They had a 6-pack, and I saw all these people and I looked up to these people, really loving to watch them on YouTube and all of that. And it inspired me, and that's what I wanted. And I wanted to be lean when it comes to body fat percentage and be able to see my 6-pack. But at the same time, I also wanted to have big muscles too. And the only issue with that is, it's one thing to want that, but at the time I just had no idea with nutrition how to even go about that. I didn't know that there were different phases of nutrition, such as a muscle building phase or a fat loss phase, or even when the heck to have a maintenance phase. I didn't know any of that. And I remember during that time that I was working so hard in the gym with my training, and I was lifting some pretty serious weights. But at the time, I also noticed that I was gaining some body fat percentage at a higher rate than I definitely wanted to, and even to a point where I was getting a bit fluffy. So even with training super hard in the gym, my nutrition just wasn't matching that same level, and I was starting to finally become aware how important nutrition truly is. At that time, I didn't know what protein was for, I didn't know what carbs did, I didn't know the benefits of fats and habits such as sleep and water intake. I didn't know all of that would 10x the results when it came to the recovery after the gym. And not only did I not know about the macronutrients, carbs, proteins, and fats, and all the habits, I also didn't know that there were different training phases that would lead to that physique. the lean abs and the big muscles. I didn't know that there are different training phases to actually get you to that goal, where you had to focus in on one of them at a time. To be honest with you, I thought I could achieve both at the same time. And I'm here to tell you that unfortunately, that's not true. But that was honestly the biggest turning point for me. Was I started to gain awareness that I needed to double down on my nutrition if I wanted to achieve the physique that I wanted to achieve. So if my story honestly resonates with you, I just want you to know again that I've been there and I've done that. I've felt stuck too, and I've lacked the clarity. And it's very natural when you're starting. You don't just get born into this. You don't just achieve the perfect optimized habits. You got to put in the work. So the solution, guys, it's simple. Start small, and then we'll build on your success. And then finally, we'll take control of your nutrition level by level. And I've broken this down into 5 levels. It's important that you don't just jump to level 5, but you start at level 1, go to level 2, 3, 4, and then 5 in that order, so that you don't overwhelm yourself in the process and you build nutrition habits that will last. Now, before we dive into the 5 levels, you have to know what your fitness goal is. Are you currently trying to lose fat, or are you currently trying to build muscle, or are you just trying to be at maintenance when it comes to your weight? Once you know what that looks like, then we can dive into level number 1. But before we do that, we gotta make some grub. Voila, take a look at this, guys. Breakfast is served, and honestly, this is looking so good. We got a bagel, we got some cream cheese, we got a whole bunch of egg whites, we got some mushrooms, we got some spinach in there, and we also have some ham. So that right there is going to make up the plate anatomy, and then also meal frequency. And that's what we're gonna talk about here in level number 1. So level number 1 when it comes to your nutrition is dialing in the plate anatomy and your meal frequency. So first off, what is the plate anatomy? So we have our 3 macronutrients on this plate, okay? We have our protein, which is the eggs and the ham, a little bit of protein in the bagel, but I don't really count that as the main protein source. And then the carbohydrate source on this plate is the bagel, and the fat source is in the cream cheese. So that makes up the plate anatomy. Now, we also want to talk about the amounts in the plate anatomy. So when it comes to this, you typically want to aim for about 1 palm's worth of protein. And then next up, you want to aim for about 1 cup worth for carbs, and then about a thumb size for your fat. And that concludes your plate anatomy. So before we dive into meal frequency, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty dang hungry, and I really want to give this a try. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get a little bit of egg, which also has, the good sauce, Frank's Red Hot sauce on there. We're gonna take it with a fork. We're gonna take that bagel with that cream cheese. My mouth is honestly watering, happens every video. Take a bite. The second step of level number 1 is your meal frequency. And your meal frequency is essentially breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then maybe a snack in there. But your meal frequency might look a little bit different depending on your goals too. So if you're in a fat loss phase, you might not have enough calories to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a night snack. But if you're in a building phase where you're trying to put on some muscle, you might need more meals to have more calories to hit your goal. So the meal frequency is going to kind of be dictated by whatever your goal is. But I think a good starting point is to always have at least 3 meals a day. Always have your breakfast, don't skip out on that, and then have your lunch, and then have your dinner. And those times can kind of get shifted around whenever it best suits you. But again, you gotta dial in the anatomy of your plate in level 1, and then you gotta dial in the meal frequency before you head to level number 2. All right, what's happening, fam? So as you guys can see, we are here at the gym about to smash a shoulders and arm workout today. And actually, you guys might not know this, I'm actually upstairs at the Fit Body gym here in Marquette. And as you guys once know, I worked and I was a coach at Fit Body Bootcamp, and I have been off for a year. Well, guess what? I am back. So if you're in the Marquette area
and you were a past client of mine here at Fit Body Bootcamp, I am back, guys, and I'm so excited to be back to kick off the new year. But today, we are gonna smash our shoulders and arm workout. So as you guys can see here, not only do I track my calorie intake and my macronutrient intake using my coaching app, but I also keep track of my workouts. And more specifically, when I tap into this workout, I'm able to go into my exercises. I can see the amount of sets and reps that I need to do for every single workout. And then I can also see over to the right side what weight I used in the previous week, as well as how many reps I got using that weight also. So as I go through the different exercises and as I go from week to week, I'm able to really focus on that progressive overload factor. And again, what gets tracked gets measured. This way I know that I'm also progressing not just with my nutrition, but also in the gym. So guys, with that being said, level number 2 before we get into our shoulders and arms workout that I want to talk to you guys about is going to be starting to track your calories. So the calories that you consume are going to be made up of the 3 macronutrients that we have in our meals, the proteins, the carbs, and the fats. But instead of tracking all of those at the same time, in level 2, we're only going to start tracking just the calories, so that way you're able to dial in the overall portion sizes first. Now that you have a good understanding as to level number 2 and what it has in store, it's time to dive into today's shoulders and arms workout. So on the agenda for today's shoulders and arms workout, what we're gonna get kicked off with is 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps with our shoulder press. And the idea behind this is to go pretty heavy. But this is my first time actually being in this phase right now, so I'm just establishing the weights, and then as I go from week to week and throughout this first month of phase 1, I'm gonna really challenge myself to get 6 to 8 reps and either try and get an extra rep in that rep range or bump up the weights also and really focus on that progressive overload.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way.
All right, guys, we got 2 minutes rest. In this time right now, I want to talk to you guys about level number 3. So in level number 3, what we're going to be introducing with tracking your calories is also tracking your protein intake. So with your protein intake, a good starting number that I always like to say is at least 1 gram per pound of lean muscle mass or even per pound of body weight. It can be a challenging number to get at first, so you might want to set that barrier to entrance a little bit lower. So once you set your protein goal, you're going to be tracking just your protein goal and just your calories, but that is going to add another layer on top of just the calories. So you're gonna have to really start looking not just at the total amount of food, but also the food selection.
I still want to act, not the ghost. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record.
All right, guys, shoulders and arm workout is complete, and it felt so good to be lifting back at the Fit Body gym upstairs, and it's been so nice to catch up with all of the members there. Again, I haven't been at Fit Body for about a year, a little bit over a year now, and I'm gonna dive into that in a future video also. I'm super excited about it, and it feels so good to reconnect with so many of the members there. And not only that, guys, but now it's time to dive into level number 4 when it comes to tracking your nutrition, and that is tracking not only your calories and your protein, but your calories, your protein, your carbs, and your fats. As you can see here on the screen, that's exactly what I am currently doing. And that's because I've already gone through the repetition of learning the plate anatomy, the meal frequency, tracking just my calories and my protein, and now I can get more precise. I can have all of the radars on my plane working for me so that I'm taking that plane from point A to point B and making sure that we're steering that ship in the right direction as accurate as possible. And it's the same thing with your nutrition. When you're able to track not only your calories, but your calories and all of the 3 macronutrients, you're going to be a lot more precise, and you're going to be able to not only reach your goal in a much more attainable fashion, you're also going to be able to have more energy throughout the day, optimize your recovery when you're tracking your protein. You're going to be able to have better performance and energy when you're monitoring your carbohydrates for whatever your goal is. And then same thing with your fats. That's going to really keep your hormone levels in check, especially when you're in a caloric deficit or when you're in a fat loss phase. So as you level up in your nutrition tracking game, when you're able to start tracking not only your calories, but all of the macronutrients, it's going to level you up and make you become the best version of yourself with your nutrition that much more. All right, guys, we officially made it. Level number 5 is going to be optimizing your nutrition timing. So we not only covered the plate anatomy and also the meal frequency, and then all of the tracking components when it comes to your calories and your macronutrients. Now that we have all of that dialed in, now we can start placing those meals at the optimal spots in our day, which typically is right before, about an hour or so before your workout, depending on that meal, as well as after your workout to help boost the recovery. So placing meals, especially with more carbohydrates right before your workout and allowing enough time to digest, is going to allow you to have boosted performance in the gym. And from there, afterwards, also making sure that we are having enough protein and carbohydrates in our meal to optimize the recovery. So level 5, after we learn to track everything, after we learn to make our plate not only look beautiful and have the right amounts, but also the right amounts of each of the macronutrients, then we can really prioritize when is the optimal time to have the foods. And that does it, guys. But it does take time to achieve all of these levels. So you got to give yourself some grace when it comes to learning this, because it's going to take some time if you're just starting off. And you guys know that that journey of 1,000 miles, it always starts with that first step. So make sure you take that first step. Don't make it a huge leap. Make it a small step, okay? Start with level 1 and then work your way up as you progress to level number 5. All right, guys, well, it's that time. This guy, I think he's ready for a walk. He's so ready for a walk. All right, dude. Well, before we head out and take our walk for this evening, guys, if you're looking to level up your nutrition here, in 2025, then don't hesitate. Click the first link down in the description where you can schedule a strategy session directly with me. And when we hop on that call, I get to hear, I'll be able to hear a little bit more about what your goals are and how we could level up your nutrition and get you set up with the right training program also. So if that interests you guys and if you learned something in today's video, click that first link down in the description and let's level up your fitness journey. We'll get you started today. But for now, hopefully you guys learned something in today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, then don't miss out on the next one. You can do that by hitting that subscribe button right here. And if you missed the last video, don't forget to check that guy out right up here. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.